A Long Island woman became an adoptive mom to 8 reborn dolls. She breastfeeds them, takes them everywhere with her, and makes them breakfast. She was quoted saying she wanted to switch over to regular food, but her grocery bill was too high. Welcome back. Hope you guys had a great week. Now it's time to get back into some more creepy videos and make it rethink reality. As always, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. So grab your snacks, kick back, and let's go.
Can I talk to you? And he said, sure. And he floated in sideways through a crowd of people. He was wearing black. And it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he was a dancer, you know, so he has he's very, graceful. Yeah. And he moved sideways, and he just sat down in a chair next to me. And it kind of frightened me. And he's a very smart guy. And we started talking, and I didn't, say much of anything about reading the script, nothing. I just started talking about the Middle Ages. And he began to talk tortures. And we swapped tortures, because I'd read this book on torture. And I tried to recall some of the most heinous things I'd ever read in this book. And he was like, oh, and he'd try and top it. And and my assistant was there, and he left because he couldn't stand it anymore. Yeah. The air had turned cold. And then he left, and I wanted to leave. And because I knew that I didn't want to work with him. Yeah. And he was getting scary. Yeah. And then I turned around, and it was on top of the Peninsula Hotel. I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point. Yeah. And I was looking at a building with the top of the sixes on it. So there was a huge illuminated 666 in red. Yeah. And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. Yeah. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist.
I don't know, Mel. You chose the topic of discussion and you chose the place. I think you guys should have met at Starbucks like normal people and talked about doing a sequel to Chicken Run. It might have been a better conversation.
Never seen a chicken so strong. Well, it's not working.
Never do that to my children or any child. Try to kill them? Come on, stupid. And why would I put a scarf over the baby's face if I was trying to throw him off the balcony? We were waiting to thousands of fans down below, and they were chanting they wanted to see my child. So I was kind enough to let them see. I was doing something out of innocence.
Now, this is scary. There's a theory that Paul McCartney from the Beatles actually died in 1966. On November 9th, 1966, Paul's car skidded off an icy road and hit a tree. And the theory is that he didn't make it. So they hired someone who looked, sounded, and acted exactly like him. They covered this up so it would not affect their successful careers and they could continue as usual. They started putting hints of his death in their music because they felt guilty. And the lyrics are scary. Click share, then on more, and then on music. But that is not the only time something like that could have happened. At the beginning of her career, Avril Lavigne hired a body double. Lots of celebrities do that if they don't want to go to events, for example. The body double's name was Melissa. So the theory goes that Avril couldn't handle the pressure of the fame and her parents' divorce. So she unalived herself and then was replaced by her body double in 2003. This video isn't meant to disrespect anyone, and these are just theories and nothing can be proven. But what do you think of all that?
This says, amen, brother, I could be wrong here, but I view the seed of the serpent in Genesis 3:15 as aliens or Nephilim, the offspring of the serpent. I believe you may be correct. I believe what we call aliens in our day and age, and even throughout history, are either fallen angels, angelic, or just the offspring, the Nephilim. If you notice, anytime that these aliens or so-called aliens appear to people, they always have to downgrade the name of Jesus, or they always point to a different Jesus, the New Age Jesus, who's known as the Ascended Master, who's a false Jesus, who eventually will come back with the Mahdi as the false prophet and Antichrist duo. But a lot of people on this earth, they're not privy to this. They only read the Bible from a standpoint that makes sense to them, in the sense that anything that seems spiritual, they eliminate it. Let me correct that. They'll understand ancient spirituality, but not modern. So this idea is foreign to them, but I agree with you.
You ever heard of a real witch summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water? Inside this very warehouse sits the entire inventory of liquid death mountain water. Each can is about to be infused with real demons. by a real witch.
Nah, bro.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
Wow.
We enter into...
No. We ain't entering into... No. Man, we rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and we ain't entering into nowhere with you. In the last video, y'all was telling me that there were videos on YouTube of them doing witchcraft over the can. And I honestly didn't believe y'all till I looked it up. I also went and did some research about the owner, y'all, and he tries to say all of this is satire. It's funny. He's just a great marketer. I must say, the marketing strategy is amazing because he's making it seem like this is a joke when in reality, they are very much doing spells on people. So baby, I don't know who needs to hear this, but stay away from liquid death. This was at the end of the video. Yeah, it's wicked. Drop a comment down below and let me know what I should do for part 20. Amen.
The fact that you can put real demons in the can and sell it in a store, but you can't talk about God on live TV or the news, means there's something really wrong with our society. I hope someone comes out with a product called Solid Life. That way you don't have to worry about drinking Beelzebub when you're thirsty.
This is voices that are in 440 frequency. Now, It was Rothschild that patented this, so it keeps everybody on edge. Now, what this is a Gomini meter, and what it is, this is what the voices will sound like. So this is African. See?
Yeah. So that middle part that's fuzzing up.
This is what sounds are doing to your body. This is what it's doing to the water and the minerals and the salt and everything in your body. Right? It's keeping you on edge. Now, when you did your call to the prayer, you didn't move. Hang on. Sorry, I'm on a... Turn it off. It's hardly moving. No.
Nothing's playing in the background, that's why.
It's playing in the background,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now watch. It's not even moving. It's not even moving.
That's mad.
It's called... Now that is in 432, that's the earth tone. And that's a healing tone.
Wow.
So there's proof. That is proof there.
Wow.
That you're hitting the right notes. What you're essentially doing, this for me, it stops when I stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The mouse.
Because I'm stopping exactly, and your voice. I don't know how much more proof people want. Look at this. Right, so you've got African,
and even the music you played as well. Do you remember?
Even the music. Well, let's put the music on.
Yeah.
I'll show you what music does. This is proof that they're messing around with us. So right. That's what 440 frequency is doing to your bodies. Look. That's what it's doing inside our bodies when we hear it. So it keeps you on edge. This is why people dance. This is why babies, when they're first born, can't not move to drums. Because drums have an effect on your body.
That's nuts.
Right? Now, what you're doing is a frequency in 432, which for me is more spiritual than the praying itself, because this is a healing tone. Look, it's not even moving. So it has no bad effect whatsoever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
When the reverb, because it's not real what we've put in.
Yeah, that's right.
When it comes off, watch it just as it comes off the edge. Watch.
It's completely straight.
Yeah.
That's Steve. That's crazy.
Proof.
That's crazy.
That's proof. There's proof.
Imagine I have a beautiful tree that's filled with oranges, and I ask myself, what is the orange made of? How do I answer that question? Well, I want to look deeply inside the orange, so I magnify it. And I magnify it again, and if I keep on doing it, deep inside, sooner or later, I begin to see molecules come into view. But molecules are not the end of the story, because the molecules, I can enlarge them. And if I make them big enough deep inside, I begin to see atoms. Atoms are not the end of the story, too, because we have electrons zooming around the nucleus. Deep inside, mostly empty space in the atom, but deep inside, we see the nucleus. So if I grab that and magnify it, I see that the nucleus is itself made of particles, neutrons and protons. And if I grab one of the neutrons and magnify it, I find yet further particles, little tiny quarks inside. Now that is where the conventional ideas stop. String theory comes along and suggests that inside these particles there is something else. So if I take a little quark and I magnify it, Conventional idea says there's nothing inside, but string theory says I'll find a little tiny filament, a little filament of energy, a little string-like filament. And just like the string on a violin, I pluck it and it vibrates, creates a little musical note that I can hear. The little strings in string theory, when they vibrate, they don't produce musical notes, they produce the particles themselves. So a quark is nothing but a string vibrating in one pattern. An electron is nothing but a string vibrating in a different pattern. A neutrino, nothing but a string vibrating in a different pattern still. So if I take all of this back together, I have my ordinary orange, and if these ideas are right, they are speculative, but if they are right, deep inside the orange or any other piece of matter is nothing but a dancing, vibrating cosmic symphony of strings. That's the basic idea of string theory.
What I want to do now is...
Whoa.
What is that?
Scared the shit out of me. Some screaming.
What is that? Is it a person?
What the f? It's a naked man. Hello? Are you okay?
Can we help you?
He's just standing there.
Hello? What the f***? All we have to do is whistle. I heard whistling to them is like the worst thing you could do.
What?
Yo.
Whoa.
Where you go?
Whoa. Run.
Go.
What the?
Okay guys, class is in session. There are 3 things you should never say to a skinwalker. Hello? Are you okay? And can I help you? If you do it anyway, that's your fault. You're just asking to get skinned at that point.
Buzz Aldrin saw the devil himself in Antarctica. Listen closely, it's terrifying. In 2016, a satellite captured an image of what experts believe to be a massive pyramid in Antarctica. Now, if it indeed was a pyramid, it would be the largest pyramid ever found on Earth, bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is about 230 meters wide. This pyramid in Antarctica would be 2,000 meters wide. Apparently, in 2016, Buzz Aldrin and his team assembled and went to Antarctica to explore and verify this colossal pyramid. They wanted to see it for themselves, but this is where it gets crazy. During the expedition, Buzz Aldrin had a heart attack. He was hospitalized for days, but when he fully recovered and left the hospital, he tweeted something strange but quickly deleted it. It said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself. What is he talking about? Because I don't want to find out." Someone close to Buzz said they spoke with him and he said this. Buzz said one thing and he just said, "We thought out things we shouldn't implement." What do you mean by that? What did they find?
The Statue of Liberty seems to be getting weirder and weirder. People have found that there seems to be something huge lurking under its pedestal. The media, with curiosity, finally found a message from the statue's designer in 1889. But when faced with the initial interview by reporters, the designer said he knew nothing and that he had only modified it according to the request of the then U.S. president and had been modifying it for 4 years before finally completing it. The designer did not understand why the U.S. government wanted to constantly enlarge the base, because it seemed meaningless in terms of aesthetics and solidity. But not until 1949, with the exposure of a confidential document, did the whole thing. The truth began to slowly emerge. A strange code name under a confusing text, vaguely written to provide an entrance for nutrients, install an engine, and achieve the final departure. Then there was a leaked design of the interior of the statue, and from it, people found some terrifying things. First, a huge engine was installed at the bottom of the base, then the statue's feet were inexplicably fitted with a row of strange pulleys, followed by a narrow entrance and a huge staircase that did not fit in. However, in the middle of this huge room was a strange drain, and finally on the left side of the engine was a huge waste storage room. Time came to the summer of 1954, when thousands of people complained to the government that Ellis Island was emitting a nauseating stench, and one woman named Eleanor's remarks were even more exaggerated. The Statue of Liberty seems to be getting weirder and weirder. People have found that there seems to be something huge lurking under its pedestal. The media, with curiosity, finally found a message from the statue's designer in 1889. But when faced with the initial interview by reporters, the designer said he knew nothing and that he had only modified it according to the request of the then U.S. president and had been modifying it for 4 years before finally completing it. The designer did not understand why the U.S. government wanted to constantly enlarge the base, because it seemed meaningless in terms of aesthetics and solidity. But not until 1949, with the exposure of a confidential document, did the whole thing. The truth began to slowly emerge. A strange code name under a confusing text, vaguely written to provide an entrance for nutrients, install an engine, and achieve the final departure. Then there was a leaked design of the interior of the statue, and from it, people found some terrifying things. First, a huge engine was installed at the bottom of the base, then the statue's feet were inexplicably fitted with a row of strange pulleys, followed by a narrow entrance and a huge staircase that did not fit in. However, in the middle of this huge room was a strange drain, and finally on the left side of the engine was a huge waste storage room. Time came to the summer of 1954, when thousands of people complained to the government that Ellis Island was emitting a nauseating stench, and one woman named Eleanor's remarks were even more exaggerated, saying that Ellis Island was terrible. The whole place was filled with a slaughterhouse-like smell. Dead animal carcasses were everywhere. Once, she even saw officials lining up to take a group of people into the statue at night. Then they would lock the door and leave, and the next morning it was as if nothing had happened, except that the smell was more obvious. In August 1985, people first photographed the statue undergoing strange changes. The statue began to slowly move to the right, and something strange seemed to appear in the base. Finally, after an investigation by the local government, they claimed that there was once a mass grave there, and said that if you disappeared on the island between 1949 and 1954, you will receive a government compensation.
This is my first time hearing this about the Statue of Liberty, but if they installed an engine for its eventual departure, I want to know where they plan to depart a 225-ton statue.
How many times can you say his name? Uzi, 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 6.
Lil Uzi Vertical's long-awaited concert tour has officially begun, and some fans are saying they felt like they were a part of some type of ritual. Now, before I show you the rest of the clip, you heard that girl say that Uzi has a game to play. How many times can you say his name? And she says it 6 times. Now, if you keep repeating his name, Lil Uzi Vert, it starts to sound like the name Lucifer, and it's no coincidence she said it 6 times, the devil's number. Now, watch the rest of this clip, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on the rest of his concert tour.
If you're a conspiracy theorist, this upcoming iOS 18 update might not be for you. And it needs to be talked about immediately, because how is nobody questioning this? I swear, humans are so easily entertained, it's actually scary. First of all, let's start off with the fact that while it might seem cool, your front-facing camera will allow you to use your device with your eyes. Yes, your eyes. Literally tracking them as they move. While this might seem cool for users with physical disabilities, you are literally capable, like it says here, of navigating through the elements of an app and use dwell control to activate each element, accessing additional functions such as physical buttons, swipes, and other gestures solely with their eyes. I think we're getting a little bit too advanced here, people. And if that's not sketchy, you will literally be able to lock any app. Yes, lock your apps and even hide them as well. So say goodbye to monogamy, ladies and gentlemen. But the biggest one yet is the fact that Siri is getting an extreme AI update, which will allow it to quite literally have access to everything in your phone, including your location, your text messages, see every single photo on your device as well, and even pick out via voice command a specific photo you have throughout your entire album to its most precise wording, such as asking Siri to find a specific photo from years ago with a specific individual. The good thing is the fact that right now, AI capabilities, as we know, will only be available on the iPhone 15 Pro, which I'm guessing people wouldn't want after hearing what's coming. I've seen the show The 100 and the movie Terminator, so I'm good, wink wink. But if this is for you, then so be it, go for it. After looking into Senate Bill 1409, I don't really know. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and go look into Senate Bill 1409. Then things get really interesting.
Apparently this was an accessibility feature for people who are disabled, but as you know, like all other things, these things tend to creep their way into our everyday lives. Eventually, all you need to do is blink twice in order to add something to your Amazon cart.
It literally looks like a zombie apocalypse has begun in the US right now. Eerie footage is coming out of Philadelphia this week showing hordes of people slouched over but still standing, seemingly conscious and unconscious at the same time. One video walked through the crowded sidewalk with tents, people sat in camping chairs, the needle packets on the floor, showing a devastating side of America that has quickly spiraled into an epidemic. The thing that's turning these people into these zombie-like figures is a newer drug sweeping US cities called xylazine, or better known as tranq. It's intended to sedate larger animals like cows and horses, but more recently, people have begun abusing it because of the unique high it gives. Unfortunately, it also brings horrific side effects, including raw wounds that spread rapidly and can result in rotting flesh or amputation if left untreated. In fact, the drug is so potent that the White House recently declared it an emerging threat. And according to a 2022 report, xylazine has now been discovered in 36 states.
I'm not gonna believe this, but we buried this guy like a day ago. Hey, but guess what? He's back. Yeah, I know, buddy. I see you. I'm surprised you're still up and walking around. Hi.
You eat on camera, a lot of times they'll cut away from you and you have a bucket. You literally have a spit bucket. Because once you eat something on camera, it's very hard to eat it ever again if you have to swallow it a bunch of times. And it's like on a road trip, I can never eat French toast ever again. Seeing it makes me nauseous. I ate over 100 pieces in one day. And
100 pieces?
Yeah. It was the one made of Wonder Bread, but still.
I mean, 100 pieces of anything.
But we shot that from different angles over the course of like 7 hours. If you have to take a bite of something and they want to see your reaction to it, you have to swallow it.
It's good.
But the only time that there's no spitting when it's a sponsored item. When I did the core,
I know these look like computers. Totally not.
Pepsi and Hot Pockets were sponsored. It was product placement.
Oh.
I ate 54 Hot Pockets in one day, and I fucking hate them.
Like full Hot Pockets?
Yeah. Well, just
bites,
the majority of them. Yeah,
50.
yeah.
Wow.
But there's not enough space in my whole body for that.
No.
I throw up every time. And even when I pick something innocuous, like peanut butter banana sandwiches I used to love when I was a little boy, I had to eat those in the new guy, and now I can't touch one.
I'm the new guy.
He said, what I'm noticing here is, God killed 3 million, but the devil, I don't hear anything about the devil. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I'm saying is we have to understand that a lot of the orders for death, including Sodom and Gomorrah, are being created or being ordered by God himself, if it is even a him. I don't believe it's a gender at all. But this is why I'm saying these people, the person that's being considered to be God in the Bible, I don't think is an actual creator of the universe. I think we're mistaking the creator of the universe for a person, for people, different people people that exist within that text that have been masquerading as gods, according to the ancient tablets. They came here to engage mankind. If you read the book of Enoch, you discover like the angel Azazel comes down, right? He comes from the sky down to earth. He teaches, the first thing he teaches us is how to make weapons. Let me show you how to smelt this steel and make this sword that can cut through anything. Let me show you how to make a breastplate. Let me show you how to make a shield so that you can repel a blade and all these kind of things. And then he even goes out and helps humans kill.
George Bush Sr. Yeah. He was a soldier in World War II. He was a pilot. This story was wild, and I've never heard it. In 1992, George Bush Sr. was at this Japanese state dinner, and they brought out this like sushimi stuff in front of him. He literally, there's the video of it, he pukes, just and then passes out.
Jeez.
It was insane. Like, when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, oh, he's just like, ooh, raw fish, sushi, but then I found out the story of why he did that, and it was the saddest, scariest thing ever. In 1944, he was flying a bomber, and they're going to Father Island, which is it was a stronghold by the Japanese army in the Pacific. He was able to hit the tower, but then his plane was shot down. Him and his guys parachuted out of their plane. The Japanese soldiers saw where they landed, so they got in their boats and they started going towards them. 4 hours went by, a submarine came and got them. But then there was 8 dudes that were also shot down that were captured by the Japanese army.
Oh no.
And this is true. They're all tortured, but 4 of them were actually cut up and presented to the generals and stuff
So I
as
was
a
right.
dinner. George Bush was basically like, I could have been one of those people that was eaten, dude.
If you arrive here illegally, you will not be able to claim asylum here. You will not be able to access the modern slavery system, and you will not be able to make spurious human rights claims. That is the right thing to do.
So apparently it's been scientifically proven that the vast majority of people actually are just sheeple. A few years ago, Nat Geo conducted these sheeple experiments. They put like 10 people in a waiting room and then told them to stand whenever a beep came over the intercom. They wanted to see if this woman would eventually start standing too, for no reason other than she just simply saw that everyone else was doing it. The name of this psychological phenomenon is called herd mentality. A certain percentage of humans are more likely to offload their decision making to the rest of the herd. And as you can see, eventually she did end up standing, even though she literally doesn't know why she or the other people are doing this. For the second half of the experiment, they removed all the actors, started letting more normal people, non-actors, come into the waiting room in order to see if they would do the same thing. What they found was that they too started standing even though they literally have no reason why, making this a classic example of herd mentality. Apparently, 95% of people have evolved to have herd mentality, which would make the 5% of you who say you have difficulty conforming the actual mutants here. So get in the comments and let me know what you would have done if you were in the waiting room. Would you have stood up, or are you one of the mutants that would have apparently done something different?
So y'all ain't gonna say nothing, huh? You're just gonna stand up with your belly out like everybody else. Not me. I can't do it. I'm too nosy. I want to know who, what, where, and why.
yarada ee mustaqbalka ifaya leh waxa uu dhameeyay dugsiga heerka sare ee dugsiga sare jaamacad ma uusan gelin wuxuuna qortay askarinimo si qaranka Soomaaliya uu askari ugu noqdo bulshadiisana ugu adeego balse isagoo tababar ku jira qarax dhacay ayaa maskaxdiisa waxyeeleysay oo qayb ka mid ah madaxiisa waa ay maqan tahay.
Why is no one talking about this kind of temptation?
The greatest weapon of mass destruction in world history is Satan's favorite secret weapon. You know what it is? Food. The very first temptation in the history of the world was a food temptation. The very first temptation of Christ was a food temptation. Oh, but wait, there's more. The children of Israel went down into Egypt and were slaves for 400 years because they were looking for food. Food is Satan's secret weapon. Maybe that's why it says in the New Testament, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. Wow. eat or drink. Doesn't seem like that should go there. Whether or not you pray or read the Bible, do all to the glory of God. That's what we think. Whether or not you go to church or you tithe, do all to the glory of God. Now, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. Food is Satan's secret weapon. He's used it to kill more people in world history than any other weapon. Most Americans dig their graves with a knife and fork. I'm telling you, your health, use it. Your fitness, use it, or you will lose it.
I really do believe health as well, but every time you turn around, they're always saying something bad for you. What are you supposed to do, eat nothing? Look, the earth is plentiful. Enjoy yourself. As long as you're not hurting anybody else or yourself, just enjoy.
The universe is composed of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion, and it is, in and of itself, one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity. According to the theories of Carl Pribram, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm, a physicist at the University of London, the human mind is also a hologram which attunes itself to the universal hologram. Remember that it's not a hologram that's projected externally that you could put your hand through like in movies. It's an internal mental hologram that's solid and interacts with every physical sense, including touch.
It's around 9 p.m. on a Friday night. They're settling in for the evening. During this time, their mom had gone out to walk their dog as she does every night. But while both sisters are alone at home, something happens that leaves them extremely unsettled. Now, the mother in question, known as Isabel Katz, had sent me this video in the hopes that someone could explain her footage. She and her kids live in a house that might be haunted, according to her. Strange things often happen, and she doesn't know what to do. From a sliding cabinet door that is often found open after being closed shut, to mysterious noises heard at night, Isabel is certain that something unexplainable is happening. One night, while Isabel walks the family dog, her 2 children are alone at home when this is captured. It was after watching this video that their mother knew something paranormal had occurred. At first, one of her children sees something that terrifies them beyond belief. According to her, she had seen what looked like a tall figure standing inside the master bedroom. It wasn't exactly clear, as her daughter states, but she knew something was there, and her sister can attest to this, as she too had seen something tall inside the room. Following that, the sound of their cabinet door sliding open is heard on camera. Understandably, the whole family was freaked out, if not spooked, by this incident. Not much else is known about this clip, but Isabel hopes that someone could explain her footage, as she's not sure what to do or what was caught on camera.
Just like we talked about, be nice to the kitten, okay? Die! He doesn't. You will die! Sylvester! Okay, yeah, he's pissed. We should probably go. Come on. It's like he's possessed by a demon. I don't know. I'm so...
Sir, I urge you to get a priest over there as soon as possible. Tell him to pick up some holy water, 2 cloves of garlic from the grocery store, and a wooden stake from Home Depot. That cat must have gotten to that liquid death while you were at work.
Is that a pinky?
That's it for tonight's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, comment on your favorite clips, and join the Space Crew, because we rocking. Peace.